In 1956, Nikita Khrushchev told the United States that the Soviet Union would bury us. Well, they may never get the chance to even try, simply because we're on the way to being buried by our own paperwork. The interstate highway system, for example, costs approximately $15 billion more than it should, just as a result of construction delays due to paperwork. Another example, one new federal requirement may add up to 18 million pages of paper a year to federal highway projects. That would make a pile of paper 1.5 miles high. If all those papers were laid end to end, they would reach from Fort Worth to Europe. Assuming that someone is going to have to fill out all those pages, the resulting cost is staggering. Those are a few of the findings of a Congressional Public Works Subcommittee looking into the proliferation of government red tape. The chairman of that committee is Representative Jim Wright.
Just give you a little illustration. About 5 years ago, at the beginning of the Economic Development Program, a typical grant to a community would be backed up by about this much paperwork 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it requires approximately this much paperwork to justify an average grant to a community or a loan to a small businessman under the EDA project. Under the programs by which small communities apply for aid in sewage treatment works, it usually requires approximately this much paperwork today, which is about 5 times as much as it did 7 years ago. Several states have estimated that 1/3 of their total manpower time for their health departments is spent in filling out forms. Now, these are people who otherwise could be doing more important things, such as monitoring the operation of sewage plants and testing the effluent and improving them.
The cost of building a highway with federal help is already estimated to be about 30% higher than building the same road without aid. It seems that if the trend continues, the states will no longer be able to afford assistance from the government. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, at the Federal Building in Fort Worth.
The name Robert Medrano is a household word as it relates to the poverty program. What are some of Robert Medrano's other ambitions in life?
First of all, I'm currently trying to get I'm working on my Ph.D. degree at SMU in public administration. First of all, my education is one of my goals, to accomplish as much education as I can. The second thing is hopefully that I can work as a grassroots individual. The plights that I've been through is to bring about some types of institutional change, working within the system in a nonviolent, pacified, working within the system.
Last Friday, we heard from Mr. Curtis, who is director of the American Automobile Association, present his side of the case, which is opposing the Turnpike Authority. The Turnpike Authority has asked us for a resolution supporting their stand for a study to see if it's feasible to build a toll road between Fort Worth and Dallas.
Will the commission take action tomorrow on the toll road issue?
I'm not sure, but I would say yes, since we're being asked tomorrow.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it personally?
Well, I'm willing to listen to both sides, and I certainly have no objection to supporting a study. And after all, there's a great deal of money involved. There's a great deal of personal feelings on both sides of the issue, and a study, even though it's expensive, certainly can't hurt the situation.
I'm quite sure to keep most of the guys. They have a halfway house in Houston, which is operated similar, or just about the same as what this one will be. And out of 280 guys that come through, only 9 of them have returned in the last 18 months.
Robert is the first Mexican American to be appointed to a DCA post of this nature and administering a $500,000 budget. What are some of your plans initially?
First of all, before we go any further, I prefer to be called a Chicano. Mexican American is out of context nowadays, and I'd rather be called a Chicano.
All right. As the first Chicano to be in a position of this nature, what are some of your plans?
Well, some of my plans at the moment is, first of all, the new OEO conflict implementation, the compliance with it at the last DCA board has tremendously affected the advisory board. It has reduced participation and membership now, and it's a matter of completely a whole restructure now.